Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. It is Friday. Hopefully you've all had a fantastic one so far. This is going to be your daily cryptocurrency market update every day at 1 p.m. UK time, which is GMT. We release these updates where we look at not only the crypto space, but the economic landscape around it and try and navigate the treacherous waters that are being a crypto investor. So before I start this video, guys, to get me up there and to promote this content to people that need it, if you guys can please leave me a like and a comment, it is greatly appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed, smash that subscribe button to stay tuned to or with the cryptocurrency market. So what are we going to do? Well, we made 4 videos yesterday because there was a lot taking place. We're going to look at Bitcoin because yesterday I'd expressed my opinion that I was sitting on my hands. So I think follow the start of the year, and I keep mentioning this for anybody that isn't familiar, we put money back into the crypto space after sitting out from really sort of March and February up here when Bitcoin was around about 44k, all the way down, admitting that we got how the bull market was going to end. Wrong. I'm not perfect, guys. I have that news for you. Not that anybody thought I was anyway. None of us are. And we mitigated a lot of damage, certainly for Bitcoin and altcoins, significantly more. And following a discussion that I had with my group, we decided, we had the discussion on the 5th, and then we put money back into the markets. And we made a lot of money since then. But we'd like to buy more crypto. And the question is when, okay? And yesterday, I expressed my concerns with going into the CPI on Tuesday. Crypto's already had a beautiful rally. We'll look at trends and how they and you know what they are in this video, because actually we did say that where you are at this sort of neckline, which is what we're going to call it for Bitcoin, that it's very likely you're going to pull back before setting up for more continuation. Things don't just go up in a straight line, and actually we wouldn't want to see things just go up in a straight line, because what comes up must come down. You get that parabola up, you're going to see a good portion of it to the downside, which means you're going to get wrecked. So this is very healthy, what we saw for Bitcoin. Now, we had no ideas, and bearing in mind, and people in my group can attest to this, we had levels drawn out that we're moving towards. We've had a first one hit, we've got levels lower down that we're potentially looking for, and this may be when we look to get in. And for those of you who feel as if you missed out on getting in down here, you know, this is the 9th of January. There is potentially another opportunity for you guys to load up. And again, I can't stress how important it is to be, it doesn't have to even be my community, to be in a community of people that are all working towards the same mutual goal. And that is to get these markets right. There's lots of other groups out there, by the way, guys. Not just mine. So, you know, I have to be fair to other people. And try them out for yourself, guys. You know, but it is valuable. I've personally spent tens of thousands on my education. Recently just joined a group that was pretty expensive, but already worth it, because, you know, you're investing in yourself, which is the most important investment you can make. How's that? So before all of this, obviously we said we're expecting volatility going into the CPI. CPI, I'm kind of scratching my head, trying to figure out what I think is going to happen. But yesterday we had the SEC come out and say that they've charged Kraken on the for the unregistered offer and sale of securities run through staking as a service program. Now, this has sent fear into the hearts of crypto investors. Meanwhile, institutions are licking their lips like a hungry wolf on the top of a hill, looking at the sheep scrambling in a disorderly fashion. Retail is the sheep. I'm sure many of you out there felt the panic yesterday, which is why it's important to be in a community. Even though it was all foretold in terms of technically, people that think technical analysis does not work don't understand it. What you're looking at when you're looking at the price is you're looking at what people are doing in relation to an asset. Are they buying? Are they selling? And that will give you answers that you will not get through news that comes typically after the fact. Now, the fact that this was deemed horrific news and didn't destroy the market, and we actually, big money doesn't sell on the news. They'll position beforehand. And it's probably why, actually, and we did say all this, it's why we were sitting on our hands. We didn't like this structure. This is grindy. Look at where your wicks are. And actually, if you drop down to the smaller time frames and do some sort of volume profiling, you'll see who was in charge of this. A lot more volume at the top than there was the bottom sort of resistance, if you want to call it that. So yesterday we expressed our opinion that we want to sit on our hands. We also did a video yesterday looking at Brian Armstrong. He came out and gave a tweet saying, we're hearing rumors that the SEC would like to get rid of crypto staking in the US for retail customers. I hope that's not the case, as I believe it would be a terrible path for the US if that was allowed to happen. Now, I think Brian Armstrong's just protecting himself here. Getting rid of crypto staking in the US was not mentioned by Gary Gensler. In fact, he took a while to explain what staking was. He made a clear definition, by the way, guys, between the steak that you eat and staking where you stake your cryptos. I nearly smashed up a monitor listening to this because I was just patronizing. But then again, I guess they have to sort of explain it in a simplistic term because they've, made the masses like, jelly, basically. So they need to make sure people understand it. Anyway, I don't know, getting on a tangent. But basically what he's saying here is he's going after exchanges for offering services that involve staking. That's what he's saying. He's going after exchanges, not you as an individual staker. Now, I actually think that this is bullish. I believe that crypto, and you're going to go, what are you talking about, mate? In order for it to get tens of trillions, hundreds of trillions, who knows in the future, and mass adoption, institutional adoption, it needs to be regulated. This is a massive step towards that. And actually, if you look at what we've seen the likes of BlockFi, Celsius, recently Gemini with their Genesis trading arm. These people are offering earn programs that they weren't being transparent about. And with Brian Armstrong coming out and saying that this is a human right that you should be able to stake on an exchange and that this is horrific and dampening the whole industry with this, it's kind of like the Gemini twins kicking off about them knowing the risks involved that were involved with Genesis trading, still doing it. And then when they got burnt, complaining about it and going to the SEC, bringing scrutiny on the whole industry. And maybe scrutiny is what's needed. I am, first and foremost, a libertarian. Right? I believe in a human being's rights. Their sovereign rights, which I think the government violate in more ways than I care to share on this video. And I think that you've got to ask yourself, who gave the SEC the rights to regulate this space in the first place? But in the world that we live in, we can all talk about ideals. And I believe, decentralization helps the libertarians' cause. It's why I got into the cryptocurrency market largely, was because of Bitcoin. I, again, got in for the prospects of becoming rich, and then that didn't happen and had to endure a bear market, and really started to research and fell in love with what was going on here and tried to understand it as a technological revolution. But do you think in the US that they're going to allow you to use and for crypto to operate just in this unregulated space? And hell to the no. They're going to regulate, and this is a massive step towards it. And Brian Armstrong coming out and saying this, yeah, it's a good warning, and he talks about why staking is not a security. And I like it, but he's coming from a protecting Coinbase. You got to remember that these staking companies, so in the best case scenario where they actually are just allowing you to stake through their company, they take a huge share of it, or a decent chunk of it, which generates them a lot of revenue. So he's got a vested interest in this, along with the Gemini twins coming out and going, it's horrific that they've done this. But do you think the Gemini twins didn't know what Genesis Trading were doing with their Earn Programs funds? And do you think that there was everybody that took that Earn Program knew 100%? I like Binance, by the way, guys. They are as transparent as can be. And they've made sure that they're that way. But I think the worry here is there's going to be this sort of, you throw a stone into a lake and it sort of echoes outwards. I think that's a real worry for people. But actually, I see this as bullish news. I think crypto's moving to where it needs to be. And they're not banning staking. I think this is going to promote decentralization. I'm going to do my bit as a YouTube content creator for crypto to make sure I can come out and educate people on how you can stake yourself. So you don't need to use these third-party exchanges in a safe and secure manner. Now, there are risks with staking, and I'll explain all that later on. But Gensler's going after Kraken and other potentially exchanges that are offering staking services without the sort of transparency that they believe needed or registering to do so. They're going to have to register, whether it's now or later on down the line. And actually, doesn't this whole thing really put forward the case for crypto as an industry? Didn't I show you an article yesterday where we had BY and Mellon coming out saying that digital assets are here to stay? Isn't blockchain, going to infest itself into every sort of facet or crevice in society in one way or another, whether it's from the small restaurant owner to the large institution? They're all going to be using it in the future. Part of that is it has to get regulated in order for that to take place. And if you look at any tech revolution, and actually I'm going to say this, as somebody who's not a Bitcoin maxi, who will have a very small allocation of Bitcoin in his portfolio, regulations kind of make the case for Bitcoin, right? So who are you going to regulate? One of Bitcoin's greatest strengths is that no one knows who created it. You can't go after anybody. There's no one organization behind it, whereas many of these other cryptos are vulnerable to this. So that's essentially what happened. We covered it. We've done multiple videos on it. I was kind of peed off yesterday watching this. I mean, the intro.
What does stake have to do
just play this
with
again.
our securities laws? That's S-T-A-K-E, not S-T-E-A-K.
Had to do it. So where are we at? Well, we looked at Bitcoin and we did say, look, what we want to see. So we made a decision back on the 5th. 5th of January is down here, guys. We're not into saying we called the bottom. And actually, we're also humble enough to say I'll like to have multiple chances at it to increase the probability of me being right. But the 5th was down here. You can actually join the Patreon and go and find that video. Anybody that doesn't believe me. Look at what Bitcoin's done. We had certain altcoins that did significantly better. We pulled back a bit now, of course, with everything. But we're really dedicated to getting this market right. This is what we're looking at, this head and shoulders. We're looking for a reversal in this trend, right? Bullish divergence. Wow, that was bad. Bearish divergence. Potential trend ender. There's a number of other things. We looked at USDT dominance. We've done all the draws. We looked at the dollar. We looked at everything. And Bitcoin was due a pullback. This is on the also. There wasn't just the sort of technical reasons why Bitcoin was due a pullback. There was sort of cross-market reasons like the dollar catching a bit of a bid. We knew it was going to sell off here. Dollar actually looks good today, which is why we're sort of still sat on our hands. And of course, the stock market is something we looked at. This was when we were up here and we drew this pullback coming to around about. We're looking for a pullback across the board, and of course, Bitcoin wasn't going to escape it. So also going to sell off pretty hard. It's why we sat on our hands here, because the problem you've got is once you've had such an explosive move like this, the retracement's gonna take you. It's gonna suck for altcoins. Just the nature of the beast. It's the market that we're in, guys. So we still got the CPI coming up. So I'm still expecting volatility. I think one of them sit in your hands moments. And we spoke about when are we out of this bull or bear market. Now, a bear market, in my opinion, is a macro term defined over a 6-month or plus period. Have you been downtrending for 6 months plus, then that's a bear market. Have you been uptrending for 6 months plus, then it's a bull market. And how you break out of that, if a downtrend is a succession or a bear market is a succession of lower lows and lower highs, a bull trend is a succession of higher highs and higher lows. So you will only know that you're in a now properly shifting into a bull market if you get this concession of higher highs and higher lows after a period of lower lows and lower highs. So this pullback is not only expected, don't know where exactly it's going to go to. If we think this is our head and shoulders, you don't want to run here. Come back down here, you're in trouble. You could get some sharp volatility in this shoulder and do something like this. We're not 100% sure yet, but we're going to be watching like a hawk for the group and looking to potentially load up on altcoins moving forwards. So I would like to hope that this isn't our range. But there's also that possibility. And this is why, even though we bought here, we've always made sure that we're ready for whatever outcome. So I'm rambling on a bit now, guys. It's been 14 minutes. Take this for what it is. It's not the worst news in the world. It does suck a little bit, but, at the end of the day, did we really think they're going to just allow the crypto space to exist outside the realms? And actually, again, it wasn't through people started going through the windshields of cars that they started regulating it. And that's when it really took off in terms of adoption. I think that was CZ that said that. You got this on Tuesday. We'll keep you up to date over the weekend. But on that note, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. If you enjoyed the content, like us, always appreciate it. So as a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.